Hey guys, today we have our first Warhammer 40k battle report. We're going to be playing 1850 points of Space Marines versus Tyranids. For this game we're doing the ATC mission, which means that there will be 4 objectives that are Crusade objectives, and there will be 2 objectives that are Emperor's Will objectives. In addition to that, we'll be playing Purge the Alien, and points are scored based on each of those 3 primaries. And then you also get points for the normal secondary objectives. We have Vanguard Strike deployment. We've already deployed. For our objectives, the first Emperor's Will objective is in here with the Centurions. Also, it's worth noting in this mission we're playing Big Guns Never Tire, which means that the heavy support units can score the objectives. So we have Emperor's Will objective in there. Down here in this forest, we have one of our Crusade objectives. Here in this trench system is the second Crusade objective. The third Crusade objective is here in this building, and the fourth Crusade objective is over here in the forest. My Emperor's Will objective, you can see right there through the window in the back building. Over here the Tyranids have deployed, and we'll go over the armies. We have a Winged Hive Tyrant with the Reaper of Obliterax, Toxin Sacks, Wings, and one set of Twin Link Devourers. We have 2 Harpies, Hive Crones that are as they come. We've got a squad of 3 Zoanthropes. They have Warp Blast and Catalyst, or Warp Blast and Onslaught. And this guy has Warp Blast and Catalyst. Back here behind the building, we have a Turvagon who has Catalyst. She has 2 Venom Thropes tucked back in there with her. We have on the front line here, behind the Aegis line, 3 Hive Guard with Impaler Cannons. Then we have 30 Termagants with Spine Fists. In reserve, we have 2 squads of 17 Hormagaunts. These are just for spawns. My Termagant likes to dream big. And then we also have 2 Mawlocks that are coming in by Deep Strike Reserve. So that's the Tyranid army. For the Space Marines, we have 2 Razorback squads. Each one of them has a las cannon and a twin link plasma gun with just 5 bolter marines inside. We have 2 10-man tactical squads in rhinos with plasma guns and combi plasmas. We have a Stern Guard squad with Corsaro Khan here. They are just 8 Stern Guard with him on foot. Then we have here another 10-man tactical squad with a Melta gun and a combi Melta. Back here we have a Stalker. We have the Centurions up here. They're armed with twin link las cannons and missile launchers, and the sergeant has an omniscope. And then in reserve, we have 2 Tau flyers that are pretending today to be Storm Talons with Skyhammer missile launchers and assault cannons. As of right now, the Space Marines are going first, but the Tyranids are going to try to seize the initiative. And they do. We'll be back after the first. Alright guys, turn 1 has just concluded. The Tyranids did seize the initiative. They moved all 3 of the monstrous creatures that fly up here. Cast Catalyst from the Turvagon and the Hive Tyrant. The secondary targets were the 2 Crones. They all flew up here, fired their tentacled missiles into the Stalker, managed to achieve 1 glancing hit. The other 3 missed. So that's all they did there. But the Hive Guard were able to fire up here and put 2 damage points on this Rhino. And then the Hive Tyrant was able to finish it off with his Twin Link Devourers. So these guys were knocked out, and they were also stunned in the process. So they just spent their turn backing away. The quad gun, you'll notice, has been destroyed. The quad gun fired here on turn 1, got 1 penetrating hit, but it was shrugged by the cover. And then those 2 Razorbacks bracketed it with las cannon fire and blew it up. The Turvagon spawned 12 babies. They went back there in that building to hold the Emperor's Will objective, but she also rolled double. She rolled 2 5s and a 2. So she's out of babies for the rest of the game. Right now, that's about where we're standing. Oh, also, the Stalker fired here into this Crone and wounded him once. He crashed and took another wound from the fall. Then the Centurion split fire. 1 fired down here into the Hive Guard to no effect because they have 2+ cover for the Venom Thropes. And the other 2 fired into this Crone. He made 2 of his 3 cover saves, and the 3rd one was saved by Feel No Pain. So, first turn, Tyranids have claimed first blood. The objectives are still up for grabs. And neither one of us did a lot of damage, but we're getting set to really lock up with each other. So back at the end of turn 2. Alright guys, bottom of turn 2. The flyers came in up here, the Flame Monsters creatures. This one had Catalyst, the Hive Tyrant had Catalyst. Hive Tyrant flew up here and fired into this Rhino, knocked 2 hull points out. This guy used his last 2 tentacled missiles to destroy the last one and wreck the vehicle. And in the process, we shook the stern guard. Unfortunately, you'll notice the Hive Tyrant's not here anymore. He crashed on his first crash test, and then these guys cut him down with las cannons and missile launchers. The Moloch, however, did come in, and he killed that entire tactical squad when he came in with his Terror from the Deep rule. So that knocked that squad out. One of the Storm Talons came in, fired on my Zoanthropes, killed one and wounded another. The Gaunts all mashed up here because the Hormagaunts came in trying to move forward and take the objectives. The Hive Guard were moving around to fire on the Razorbacks, but they rolled double 1s for their difficult terrain. They had Onslaught. They rolled a 1 for their run, so they didn't get any shots this turn. So right now, kill point wise, he has 1 kill point for killing my Hive Tyrant, and I have 5. I got 1 for this Rhino, 1 for this Rhino, I got 1 for this squad, which makes 3, and then I destroyed this with a Vector Strike. The Stalker destroyed it with a Vector Strike from him. So that gives me a 4th one, and in this mission, Big Guns Tire gives me a 5th one. So right now we're sitting at 5-1 in kill points. He has Slay the Warlord, and I have First Blood. Alright guys, we just finished the bottom of turn 3, top of turn 3. My opponents decided to call it at this point. The Termagants have come up and taken this objective. The Termagants and the Hormagaunts are wrapping around on that one. The Smallock here stayed on the table. He failed his instinctive behavior test and had to feed and come in and fight in close combat. So I wrapped him around to these Marines. He killed one with Hammer Wrath. The Plasma Gunner killed himself on Overwatch. I took a wound coming in. I took another wound from his shooting in the last turn. And I took a wound in close combat, but I killed 3 of them. They hit and ran out of close combat, and I backed off over here. The second Moloch came up. He got one of those Marines with his Terror from the Deep attack. And the rest of this squad with Khan was killed. The Stern Guard, they were wiped out, and Khan took a wound. Khan took another wound when this guy fired his drill cannon here over this squad. He dealt 8 wounds to this squad, but only 1 of them managed to fail their save, so they held pretty sturdy. Down here, this crone flew up into the building with the Centurions and charged them. The Centurions managed to do him 1 wound with their close combat attacks, but then he hit and wounded with all 3 smash attacks and finished all the Centurions off. So at this point, my opponent's still got troops here to hold this objective. He has troops, or he's thinking he's going to have trouble getting through to this one because of all the monstrous creatures. And since he's limited to a smaller number of Marines here, and then I hold the 2 down there. So at this point, he's decided to call it. With the Centurions falling, that will give me Emperor's Will. And I have the majority of the Crusade objectives. And I'm up in kill points right now. So the Tyranids took all 3 objectives, plus First Blood and Linebreaker. And the Space Marines took Slay the Warlord. So this is our first 40K battle report. Let us know what you think. And also feel free to visit the blog for army lists and post-game thoughts. The link will be in the description below the video. Thanks for watching.